Hey crafty friends, it's Melissa. Welcome back to my channel. I have a little tutorial for you guys today featuring some my Creative Time products. I was on Pinterest last night and I was watching this lady fold this really beautiful fabric doily into a bow, and this idea just sort of popped up. And to be honest with you, I did not search to see if anybody else had done this already, but it stuck with me, and today I was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to try this and see if it works, and it actually worked out beautifully. Now this is what I'm going to make today, and this is basically a doily butterfly rosette. Now a lot of us have rosette dies. I have several. I have several. I probably have 3 or 4 different types of rosette dies, and although they're great, they're not as easy to fold, and I don't think they come out nearly as pretty. So I was really thrilled when this worked out. Now I'm going to show you what you need to make this particular project. You don't have to have these particular doilies, although they did come out perfectly, and I absolutely love the fact that they did. But I think this would work with any doily. Like I said, I have this one. I love this particular doily because of the hearts and the scalp and the eyelet detail in it. So I thought I would share this with you guys today. So here's what you're going to need to make this project. You're going to want a doily die. The My Creative Time doily dies are gorgeous. You're going to want some paper, and I suggest that you use either 65-pound paper or less, because if it's too thick, it's going to kind of be bulky and it's not going to fold up and come together really well in the center like you want it to. And then you're also going to want a scoreboard. So how I did this was, now the first time I did it, I cut out the doily and then I just scored every 1/4 of an inch, and I folded it, and that was this one, and it turned out okay. But as you can see, it's a little wonky. So I was like, okay, I need to fine-tune this and make this even better, because I loved the way that it came out. So this is the little prototype, so to speak. So I thought, you know what, let's see if we scored it first, if it would be easier, because it was a little difficult to score with all these little, you got your stitch lines and you got all your little punch outs. So I thought, let's score first. So what I decided to do was I measured my doily. This doily, for example, is from cut line to cut line is about 4 inches across. And then this doily is about 3 inches across, and this one's a little over an inch, probably like 1.8, or 1 1/8, not 1.8, 1 1/8 inches. So I just basically cut out a square piece of paper, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Let me get these out of the way. I cut out I'm going to do a large one for you guys today. So I cut out a 4x4 square piece of paper and a 3x3 square piece of paper, and I went onto my scoreboard and I scored every 1/4 of an inch, as you can see there. Did that on both. Okay, you do want 2 different size doilies just to give it that really pretty, butterfly shape. So I did that, and then what I did was I very carefully ran, and I'm going to show you, took my die and I lined it up the very best I could to the center of what I used. This particular die. It has this little piercings here and here, and I used those as sort of my middle mark, and I lined that up on that square piece of paper as evenly as I possibly could with that particular score line, and I ran it through my die cut machine. And I did the same with the smaller one. And then what you end up with is you have a doily that looks like this. And you see how that score line sort of matches up with those little punch outs there. Same here. It's not perfect, but it's going to work just fine, trust me. And so what I did, and that is going to be like my folds for my rosette, of course. So what I did was I started in the middle. So I folded it sort of in the middle. That's how I started. And then I just accordion fold it like you do any other regular rosette die. And I want to make sure that I stay in frame. I mean, I know you guys get the gist of, how to do an accordion fold for your rosettes. So that's what I did. I just kept accordion folding it. Sorry if I'm like maybe a little blurry, you guys. Okay. And then what I did was I played around with it, and you play around with your doily. It really kind of depends on what you're doing. And I decided that this little piece in here just wasn't beneficial to me. So I opened it up to where I was on a bend, and I literally just trimmed that piece off. Okay. And then go ahead and do the other side. Just like that. Okay. And then again, open it up. I don't really need that piece. The very edge of that, I'm going to trim off. Okay. And so there you have the bigger doily all folded up the way we're going to use it. Okay. Then we're going to do the same exact thing with the small doily. We're going to fold it. I started in the middle. You can start however you want, I guess. Play with it and see what works for you. I just know that I wanted, you know, a certain fold in a certain place. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to start in the middle just to make sure. Now on this one, I kind of sort of left it in that little piece. You're not going to even see it anyway. And then start and do the other side. I forgot to mention, you're also going to need either like a piece of twine or something to tie your rosette, your little butterfly in the middle. Now, so we have both of our pieces. Now, what I want to do, or what you want to do, let me get these out of the way. What you're going to want to do is take your two pieces. Now, the first one I added glue in the middle, and that was a little unforgiving. So the second one I decided I'm not going to add glue. I'm going to just line these up as perfectly as I can with the middle, you know, just evenly. Line them up. I know I'm making this look more difficult than it is. Trust me, it's not. Take your twine or whatever you're going to use. Let's try this gold piece. I don't know how this is going to work. The other one I used a ribbon. I'm going to wrap it around twice so that I can get a good grip. Okay. So I just wrap it around, pulled it tight, and then tie a knot. Sorry. So just tie a knot in the middle. Okay. Now, you can leave these on here, trim them off. They could be your little antennas if that's what you want. Totally up to you. That's what I did. So, okay. So this is what you have. And so now all you have to do is fluff out your rosette. So this is what I did. I just worked with it. I just pulled it apart and sort of, you know, bend it up a little into the twine or whatever you have in the middle. Work it up, bend it into the middle. There's your top half. Pretty simple, right? Do the same thing with your little piece at the bottom. You're going to bend it out and then, oops, don't do that. Don't tear it. I just did that. Oh, goodness. Okay. I forget to be delicate. I'm not a delicate person. Do you see how easy that was? Look at that, you guys. Look at that. It's so perfect. It came out so easy. And I think that is a beautifully shaped butterfly. And then you could do whatever you want. You could add a beautiful flower to the center. That is the really pretty daisy die from my creative time. Here's some other flowers I just had sitting on my desk. But look, you could embellish it anyway. If you have butterfly dies and you have the little butterfly body, you could add that to the middle if you want it to look more realistic. You could put a little gemstone in the middle. Anything you wanted. And just trim these off to look like your little antennas. Let's do that. There you go. And there you have it. I mean, is that not the most simple thing? So all you're going to want to do is make sure that you take your die and you measure it from cut line to cut line, and try to make your square as close to those cut line measurements as possible, so that way you don't have, you know, your score lines are good, because you've already done your score lines. You've done 1/4 of an inch on each side. I mean, on each, well, you've 1/4 inch score marks all along across the square. And then, so when you run that through your die cut machine, everything's all good. But that was so easy. What do you guys think? I mean, I kind of like to know what your opinions are. I just think it turned out beautifully. I'm looking forward to making some of these, to put in some like Happy Meals and stuff for spring. I think it's perfect for spring crafting. So I will probably attach some of these to some projects in the near future. So if you follow me on Instagram, it's very possible you're going to see them. Now this is the medium. This is the medium and the large doily. And then this little one, and you can see the difference in size if I lay them on top of each other. See, is the small and the medium. And let's see, do I have a ruler? Let me see if I have a ruler. Okay. So basically, this is going to end up measuring from side to side. Why did I pick this ruler? It's terrible. Okay. I know you guys can't see that. That's terrible. I'm sorry. Let me get another ruler. Okay, here's a Cricut ruler that you can actually see. So from edge to edge, after made, the biggest one is going to run just under 4 inches across. And depending how much you fluff it out, it's going to determine, you know, how big it is. So I would say about 2.5 if you're looking at this biggest piece here. You know, if you fluffed this one up just a little more. It's all going to depend on your fluffing. But anyway, you guys, I hope you try this out. If you do, please post it and tag me so that I can see how beautiful yours turned out. And I just really wanted to share that with you guys. I thought it might come in useful for your crafting. Anyway, until the next crafty video, happy crafting, everybody.